And now a little story from the apple seed.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, there are seasons in life when we want to put the past behind us and embrace the future. And I was certainly in one of those seasons in my early 20s when I left London, England and moved to Austin, Texas. I rented the freestanding stone cottage of a lady called Liz Carpenter. She'd been press secretary to Lady Bird Johnson in the White House. She had the large house and my little cottage was just a few steps away from her. But between the two of us, there was a jacuzzi. And the whole house looked out over it was on a high hillside, looking out over the whole of Austin. It was absolutely lovely. And it was really in the countryside, which thrilled me because I was taking classes. I wanted to expand my consciousness. This was the 80s, after all. I expand my consciousness. I believed that perhaps I could commune with nature, that I could maybe even talk in some way with the animals. Maybe Dr. Dolittle really lived. And I've always wanted to have a face-to-face conversation with Aslan. And then I was taking classes about expecting a miracle. So I was really expecting a miracle, so I wasn't too surprised the morning it happened. I was in my shower a little late for work. I was washing my hair and I was preparing to put on my hair conditioner, which was in a small, squat bottle on the floor of the shower. And I looked down and it moved. And I thought, well, the molecules must have rearranged themselves, like in these courses they're telling me about that can happen. And then I looked down again and it moved one more time. And I thought, I really need to investigate. Now, I am short-sighted and I did not have my contacts in, so I knew I was going to have to get close. So I bent down really low until I was nose to nose with the most enormous Texas-size frog. It must have been a bullfrog. And I wasn't thinking about communing with it. I thought, doesn't that have a toxic skin? Isn't that going to give me warts? And I found myself, I grabbed a towel, thank goodness for foresight, still had the bubbles in my hair, and found myself out on the high hillside, looking out over the whole of Austin. And I was thinking, this is not right. There is a frog in my shower and there's a semi-naked me out here on the hillside. We need to change places. So I was by that jacuzzi and there was a leaf skimmer by the jacuzzi, which was a long pole and a circle on the end with netting over it. And I thought, marvelous, I will take that in and I will convince the frog to jump on the netting. So I took it in, I bore it in as though I was a knight of old and this was my lance in front of me, and went into the stone cottage, put the end of it on the shower and I said, Mr. Frog, please will you jump on to that netting? The frog didn't move. I thought maybe I haven't been polite enough. I said, Mr. Frog, please, will you jump onto that netting? It would be really good. And then I can take you out to your natural habitat. And he just went, ribbit. So I said, Mr. Frog, which at that point he leapt, and I leapt back out again, just left the skimmer behind, clutching my towel out on that high hillside. And I thought, this cannot continue, which is when I had an idea. So I went back in, grabbed another towel, threw it over the frog, and it started to jump and move and wriggle. And I just stopped thinking about communing with that frog or trying to talk with that frog. It was horrible. And I ran back outside and I threw it down the high hillside. And I thought, good riddance. I'm afraid I did. And I thought, I don't want to commune with you anyway. And I finished washing my hair, getting ready, and I went to work. Well, I was chatting away to the receptionist. I worked for Lady Bird Johnson's radio station and was chatting away. And I said, you know those courses that I've been doing? Well, they don't work. And I told her about the frog. And she said, Geraldine, I think you have seriously missed it. I really do. You should have kissed that frog. And inside myself, I thought, and get warts. I thought, Poppycock, I'm not going to kiss a frog. She said, no, really, I think it might have been the king of the frogs. And I think, seriously, you have lost your chance. So I thought, oh, how silly. But I did carry on thinking about it all day. And then when I got home, I thought, well, it would be the proper English thing to do to apologize to the frog, I suppose. I mean, I was a little hasty. So I went over to the hillside and I saw the towel. So I clambered down to get the towel. The frog was gone. I couldn't see the frog. The frog wasn't anywhere. And I was left with this feeling of foreboding. Now, I am not stupid enough to think that I broke some ancient curse. I brought something on myself. I am not thinking that about the frog. However, I have been single ever since.
Thanks for joining us for a little story from the Appleseed.